So today, as you get excited about this, get your pen and paper out. I want you to take notes. I want you to look at your screen right now, and in the top right-hand corner of your screen is a Q&A box. And in that Q&A box, anytime you have a question, you can send them in, and we're going to have a Q&A session right in the middle of this webcast where we're going to answer the questions that you have. Where Howard, with his over 20 years of business coaching with small business owners, is going to work with you on your specific questions. And then I want you to make sure you stay all the way to the end, because we're going to be giving away a digital home study course on how to build your business. It's a powerful program valued at over $400. We want to make that a gift to you, but you have to be present to win, because we're going to do a drawing right online where you're going to fill out that question box with an answer, and then based on when it comes in, that's who we're going to draw to give that prize to. So I want you to get ready, get excited. If you're in the chat room below, that's great. I just ask that if you join the chat room, you keep all your comments on target, on message, because this is a fellowship of people who want to take their business to the next level so they can be, do, and have all that God meant them to be, do, and have. So if you would, please welcome my good friend, our business partner, Howard Partridge. Come on up here, Howard.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Good to be here.
I've had the privilege of traveling all over the world with Howard, Australia, the UK, and I'm not going to steal any more of your thunder because you've got a lot of stuff to say. And, normally this takes a full day, but he's going to cram as much as he can into
We're going to go fast.
We're going to go fast. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you today. And yes, we are going to give away a great package, and we're going to cover the 5 secrets of a phenomenal business. And, you know, I learned something from Zig years ago, and that is that you are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. And you can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes into your mind. So Tom and I hope today that we'll put some new things into your mind. We'll help you to learn some things that'll change where you are right now, because I know that you have goals. If you have a business, I know that you have business goals, you have personal goals, and you've got some places that you want to go. And what will help you more than anything else is the things that you put into your mind. Now, the package that we're going to give away is the same system that I've used to build my business into a predictable, profitable, turnkey operation, and the same system that small business owners around the world are using to have record sales and profits. Tom and I are so blessed at the Ziglar Coaching to have over 84 industries all over the world that we're coaching that are having just phenomenal success. You'll learn about a few of those a little bit later on. But the first thing I want to do is ask you this question. Do you remember, if you're a business owner, do you remember why you went into business for yourself to start with? Was it to make a lot of money, or was it really to be your own boss, to chart your own course, to have a little more free time? Yeah, right. The brutal reality of most small business owners' lives, you feel like a slave to the business, very little family time, business consumes your mind 24/7, major stress, no real freedom. You feel like you have a job instead of owning a business, and your day is consumed putting out brush fires. I wonder how many of you listening out there that have a business feel that way. Can you relate to that? I know that I can because I've been there, done that. I'm originally kind of like Zig from LA, Lower Alabama. I actually grew up very poor in Mobile, Alabama on welfare. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600 square foot shack, and the roof on this house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. When you grow up in an environment like that, I mean, my mother fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. I still remember getting Christmas presents from the social workers. And when you you grow up in an environment like that, what do you really turn out like? Well, for me, it was a long-haired teenager, rebellious, got kicked out of the house. I went to Houston, Texas to live with my dad, who I'd only met twice in my whole life, and arrived there with 25 cents in my pocket. And I became a waiter, and I did all these odd jobs, and eventually I started my business with our wedding money. And for the next 13 years, I really struggled, and I made good money, but I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When I went on vacation, much of that vacation was consumed on the cell phone, talking to customers and employees back home. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I really felt like a slave to my business. And then I learned 2 secrets that changed my life forever. I read a little book called The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber. And I learned that you got to have systems in your business. So I went to my favorite place in the whole world, Destin, Florida, sat on the beach for a week, rewrote my life, rewrote my vision, came back to Houston and started building that business. Built that business into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. We have 40 staff members that love their work. It's a turnkey business. And thanks to the Ziglar Corporation and Tom Ziglar, I became an international business coach and now help coach their small business owners. Also, I want to share this with you. You know, I've had the pleasure, and today, the things that you're going to learn today have been validated by some of the world's top business trainers. How many of you would agree with this statement that all of business is about relationships? And we're going to talk about something called relationship marketing today. We're also going to talk about something called experiential marketing. My good friend Joseph Michelli writes on that, and you've got to be able to understand the unique experience that you bring to the marketplace. Well, as I started coaching small business owners, as Tom said earlier, about 20 years ago, started my first business 30 years ago, got to meet Michael Gerber, and he comes and speaks at our events. We had John Maxwell, and everything that you're going to learn today has been validated by the top business trainers in the world. But I'm most grateful for the folks that are in this building right here. I'm standing here in the Ziglar headquarters. Tom calls it the galactic headquarters, and standing here in the Ziglar studios, and I'm telling you something, that the wisdom that that man had is needed all over the world. I'm so passionate about it because we need the wisdom of Zig Ziglar more than ever before. So I started doing some video webcasts like this, and Zig came and spoke at our event, and Tom came and spoke at our event, and Julie came and spoke at our event, and they asked me to be their exclusive small business coach, and I even got to be the very first Ziglar certified legacy trainer. I mean, how cool is that? And as Tom said, we've been all over the world. We've been to Australia. We even got to teach at Cambridge and Australia and just all over the world helping small business owners. Now, I mentioned to you earlier that I learned 2 secrets back in 1997. One of them is you got to have systems in your business. The second one is what I call the greatest business lesson that I've ever learned, and it is this. Your business exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. In fact, this is what got me in the last chapter of Zig Ziglar's very last book that Tom wrote, and we're going to share with you today some of the things that come out of that last chapter of Born to Win. Your business exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. Now, when we talk about life goals, you know, Zig loved this wheel of life, and what I'd love to ask people is when you look at this wheel of life, you know, your family relationships, financial, spiritual, career, personal, physical. In fact, Tom and I were at Starbucks just a while ago, and I asked the barista this question: which one of these areas are you supposed to be unsuccessful in? And the question is none. My mentor said, you know, you're a phenomenal product. And Zig said, you're born to win, designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with the seeds of greatness. But we don't really wake up and think about that. In fact, we think about our problems. And the reason that I mention this is because as a business owner, you better have a compelling vision for your life. See, would you agree that your business has a dramatic impact on your personal life? True? Every single decision that you make in your business affects your life. So you want to make sure that you have a clear vision for all 7 of those areas of life. And I wrote a book on that called The 7 Secrets of a Phenomenal Life. And life stands for living in freedom every day. And when my wife saw the book come out, she said, honey, there's a typo on the cover. And I said, what do you mean? She said, because it's supposed to say the secrets of a phenomenal wife. So I started working on a message on that, the 4 secrets of a phenomenal wife. I love my wife. We've been married 30 years. It stands for wisdom, influence, faithfulness, and excellence. Now that's a phenomenal wife. And of course, we've got one son. He's 21 now, but how many of you have kids? Love these pictures of when they were young, and of course we love our son. But here's what I want to talk to you about today. What I want to talk to you about today is the 5 areas of a phenomenal business that Tom Ziglar and I have put together. and what they mean to your business. Let me go through them very quickly. Number one is marketing. And marketing is everything that you do to attract prospects to your business. Sales is everything that you do to convert those prospects into paying customers. Operations is everything that you do to serve your customers, clients, patients, or guests, whatever kind of industry that you're in. Administration is tracking all the stats, tracking all the numbers. And then leadership is everything that you do to influence those other spokes. Now, I mentioned Michael Gerber earlier, and he said this, that the secret of business is the system. He said the secret is the system, and then he said, and the question is why. So I developed this book called The 5 Secrets of a Phenomenal Business. It goes like this. Okay, we got marketing. That's everything that you do to attract prospects to your business. But what's phenomenal marketing? And what is a phenomenal marketing system? What is a phenomenal sales system? How do you really set yourself apart in these areas? And that's what we're going to get into today. It's not just marketing, not just sales, not just leadership, but how do you create a phenomenal system in each of those areas? So let's start with marketing. Marketing is everything that you do to attract prospects to your business. Phenomenal marketing delivers a meaningful experience. See, there's that word. That's why I mentioned Joseph Michelli earlier. And I started studying experiential marketing over the years, and I found that that's the key to really setting yourself apart. And a lot of people know how to set themselves apart, but how do you really market that? And so we'll talk about that. Phenomenal marketing engages, it educates, and it entertains. The only function of marketing, by the way, is to increase sales. So a phenomenal marketing system duplicates results consistently. What kind of results? Sales results, because the only function of marketing is to increase sales, and there's only 3 ways to increase sales under the sun in any business. Doesn't matter what it is. It's first, to get a higher price. Number 2, to get more clients. Number 3, to get more from those existing clients. So that's selling more of your services. That's upselling and those kinds of things. Let me ask you this. In your small business, do you have a sales goal? Here's what I recommend. You look at your whole year, and what you do is you put together a sales goal for the year, then break it down by the month, then break it down by the week, and then break it down by the day. Those of you that have studied Zig Ziglar, you know you got to have goals, right? And the same is true in your business, because you can't see, you can't hit a target that you can't see. Now, where do you get that sales goal from? Well, the first thing you want to decide is how much money you need to make, or how much money you want to make. And to me, that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur, is I can decide what that net's going to be. And there's only 5 numbers on any income statement in any business, no matter how large or small it is. And the way that you set that sales goal is by the profit that you want to make. You see? And the thing is that a business without a profit is just a hobby. And a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job is not a very good hobby. Believe me, I know. So how are you going to get higher prices? How are you going to create this experience? How are you going to set yourself apart? It's found in a little word called positioning. Jack Trout, who is the world authority on differentiation and positioning, wrote a book with Al Rees called Positioning. And here's the idea. I want you to imagine for just a second your favorite customer. Bring up a picture of your favorite customer. You know, the one that pays you on time, and they love what you do. They're a pleasure to do business with, and they refer you like crazy. Do you have a picture? Well, that's your target market, and the idea is that every consumer out there in that market, when your industry is mentioned, they say in this book that it's like a file cabinet, and there's a file cabinet for, you know, plumbing, for CPA, for the kind of doctor that you are and the kind of attorney that you are, or whatever the case might be. And when they think of your industry, do they think of you? That's positioning. So you got to learn how to position yourself through marketing and experience. Positioning comes from creating, marketing, and delivering a unique experience. What's unique about the experience that you provide? What's unique about how you market that? Let's look at 3 brands real quick. Whole Foods, they set themselves apart by creating, marketing, and delivering a unique experience in the natural food space, Starbucks took a commodity that's been around for thousands of years and created an iconic brand around it. And I mean, people are just sold out to Starbucks. Talk about a brand, Harley Davidson. People literally have that. Talk about an experience. People literally have the logo tattooed on their body. I mean, wow. Okay, but here's the cool thing. When you learn how to create, market, and deliver a unique experience, you can charge more. Is Whole Foods the cheapest place around? Not hardly. Is Starbucks the cheapest coffee around? Not hardly. And is Harley Davidson the cheapest bike around? Not hardly. Why is that important to you as a business owner to be able to charge more? Because the fact is that the one and only reason your business exists is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. If you don't charge enough, you don't make enough, and you got to work 24/7 to make ends meet. Is that starting to make sense? You bet. So it's called experiential marketing. There's a ton of books out there on it. My good friend Joseph Michelli wrote the Starbucks Experience. Notice the first word on Starbucks brochure. What is it? Experience. Experience. This book, The Experience Economy, Work is Theater and Every Business is a Stage. Just imagine a theater production. It's all set up. It's a system for entertaining. And in that book, they talk about coffee. They talk about the fact that, you know, when it's a commodity, it's exchanged at about $1 a pound. When you package it up, it becomes a good. It's anywhere from $3 to $12 a pound, depending on what? Depending on the brand, depending on the packaging. How's your packaging? You see, you assign a higher value to your service by the way that you carry yourself, the way your company looks, the way your materials look, right? And then you go down here to Denny's, and how much you pay for just one cup of coffee? You pay about $1 or so. And how many cups of that weak coffee can they make from a pound of coffee beans? And the answer is a ton, 60 to 80 cups actually. And then you go to Starbucks and you get the whole experience. And I want to show you a picture. Look at this picture right here. 63 people standing in line at Starbucks to pay the highest prices for a cup of coffee. In fact, I was at Dallas Love Field just the other day. I was just there this morning when I came over here to Ziglar. I live in Houston, and Ziglar's here in Plano, Texas. And they got a new wing there at, or new airport there at Dallas Love. I love it, and there's a Starbucks there. And I was early for my flight going back from Ziglar one day, and all these people are lined up at Starbucks, and right in front is another coffee place where they could have easily just walked in. They wouldn't have to wait. So I started interviewing those people, and I said, you know, they got espresso and cappuccino and everything right over here. And they said, no, I need my Starbucks. One lady was from Norway, and she said, every time I travel, I got to go to Starbucks. What if people were just sold out to your company like that? Guess what? You can do that in your small business. So the first thing is you need to get higher prices. The second thing is you need to be able to get more customers. And what's the best way to get new customers? Through referrals. So do you have a referral marketing system? How are you going to do that? Well, all of business is about relationships. All of business is about relationships. The secret to record sales and profits is not to chase suspects and not to even chase prospects, but to create a situation where people are coming to you. How do you do that? By building relationships with powerful referral sources. Have you gotten referrals from another complementary business in the past? Of course you have. Absolutely you have. The question is, did you go back to them and build a relationship with them? Did you expand the number of people in that industry? Let me give you an example. I'm here at Ziglar. Ziglar is broadcasting me all over the world. Why would they do that? Well, because they want to help you, number one. Number two, because over the years I've just built a relationship with them and we help each other. By the way, we're a referral source for Ziglar also, because who needs Ziglar products? Everybody. And especially business owners, because if you're not motivated, if you're not inspired, if you're not ready to go in the morning, guess what? You're toast. All right? Now, if you're going to do referral marketing, if you're going to go out and build relationships with powerful referral sources, then you've got to understand networking. It's the prerequisite to referral marketing. It's all about relationships, and it's the most positive skill. It's the most, building positive relationships is the most powerful skill that you can have. You got to become a phenomenal networker, because all of business is about relationships. Look at what Zig said, his most famous quote: "You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what it is that they want." When I interviewed Zig, it was, I think, in this same studio. I think it was here. You guys had just moved here. And so I'm here, Tom's here, and Tom was in the middle. He didn't know me that well then, and I was just beginning to build that relationship, and Zig's sitting over here, and Zig's going to come and speak at our conference, but he couldn't get there for a few months, so we decided to do a video here in the studio. And I shared that quote with him, and I said, you know, I tell people that you stole that from Jesus, because Jesus said, give and it'll be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. He said, oh, that's okay. I know him personally. I wish I could hear you chuckle right now, because everybody always chuckles on that. But anyway, our good friend Bob Berg wrote a great book called The Go-Giver, probably one of the best books written on relationship selling or relationship marketing. And he says this, that people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. Jim Cathcart, best-selling author of Relationship Selling, said that relationship selling has become an asset to others before they become an asset to you. You see, it's not who you know, right? It's who knows you. And it's not who knows you, but it's what they know about you. And my good friend Jim Cathcart said on one of our coaching webinars the other day, he says, it's not who knows you, it's not what they know about you, but it's who's glad that they know you. Isn't that interesting? That's positioning. That's relationship building. And you're going to generate more referrals if you go out there and build relationships with the right people. I also recommend that you have a referral reward program. There are things that you got to do in relationship marketing. We only got 90 minutes, and as Tom said, I'm trying to give you all the content of a full day in 90 minutes. So I'm going to give you the overview. You're going to get some good, great, phenomenal takeaways. But the fact is that you got to build a referral system. Otherwise, you'll just stay a slave to advertising. All right? Now, one last thing you got to do in marketing, and that is as you begin to get referrals from these powerful referral sources, you got to have a way to get other people to continue to refer you. So the question is, are you reaching out to your past and existing clients through email marketing, through mailers, through personalized cards, or those kinds of things? Do you have a referral reward program? Do you have a good message to be able to share to them? Do you have a compelling experience that you can communicate with them? Are you engaging them? Are you educating them? Are you entertaining them so that they remember you? Because the fact is if you're not marketing to your past clients, someone else is. In fact, it's the biggest marketing mistake of all, not marketing to your past clients. So in marketing, what you've got to do is you've got to position yourself so that you can command higher prices, number one. Number two, you've got to have a referral system or an affiliate program if you're in internet marketing so that you can get other people to tell that message for you. And then third, you've got to stay in touch with your prospects and your clients, and you got to have systems to do that. It's called a phenomenal marketing system. Now let's go to sales. Sales is everything that you do to convert those prospects into paying customers or clients or guests or members, whatever it is. So how many of you, like me, have called on somebody, you marketed, you generated a prospect, but they didn't buy? And the idea is you've got to turn this around from chasing people. Yes, the fortune's in the follow-up, but you got to turn it around from chasing people to where you've got what we call an unlimited supply of qualified prospects coming in all the time so that you don't have to be desperately calling and following up. But you do need to have a good sales process. So when you generate a prospect, you need to have a good sales process as well. Several years ago, when our son was 16, my wife and I were in the market for a brand new Honda. Knew the exact model, exact color, everything. And I went to the Honda website for the dealership that was in our area, and they had an opt-in on their website. By the way, if you don't know what that is, it's the 21st century. You need to understand what that is. You need to understand internet marketing, and you need to have an opt-in where you can give something away, free report, free CD, free video, free webinar like we're doing, whatever the case might be. and build your list, because the money is in the list, and then engaging them, educating them, entertaining them, and building that list. Well, they had an opt-in on this Honda website, and it said, put in your cell phone number and we'll call you within 3 minutes. Yeah, right. They're going to call me within 3 minutes. Sure enough, less than 3 minutes, my cell phone starts vibrating on the counter, and it's the Honda dealership. And somehow this young lady on the other end of the phone convinced me that I needed to get out of my comfortable chair on Saturday, which I don't want to go anywhere on Saturday. And that's when I do my writing, my planning, I'm comfortable. And she convinced me to get down there to that dealership on Saturday afternoon. Like they're going to run out of Hondas or something, you know. Well, I find myself walking in the dealership, and I asked for the young lady that I talked to over the phone. And they said, oh, no, she's in the internet marketing department. You can't talk to her. And what unfolded before me could not be called sales by any stretch of the imagination. So you have to understand, I was a qualified prospect. I would have walked in. The quicker that you make it, I'm not looking for a deal. I know what I want. The fastest that you can get this done, I'll just sign the paperwork, and it'll be the easiest sale that you ever made. How can you mess that up? Now, we did buy a brand spanking new Honda, but I didn't buy it from them. Why? Because they had no clue what's going to happen after the sale. If you can't even make the easiest sale in the world. So you got to have a phenomenal sales process. What's a phenomenal sales system? A phenomenal sales system is a system that creates an experience in the sales process. Zig says that sales is nothing more than a transference of feeling. So you got to create an experience that engages, that educates, and in some cases maybe entertains, and that might just be taking someone out to lunch. We have what we call a 7-step sales process, and we have a seminar that we do at Ziglar where we'll teach you that. And in the home study course that someone's going to win on here, we teach you those 7 steps. I don't have time to teach them all, but let me share this with you. You got to learn how to overcome objections. Here at Ziglar, they've got the secrets of closing the sale. They got sales programs. You got to understand that sales process. But let me give you one tip that you can start increasing your profits today, and that is what I call the most profitable sale ever made. Do you know what it is? It's called the upsell, the add-on sale. And that's something that you can start doing today. Do you offer more than one product or service? Absolutely. So when you're doing the first order, after you get that wrapped up, or the first phone call, or the first guest, or whatever that might be, then what you want to do is you want to then talk to them about other services. Why is it the most profitable sale ever made? Because you've already invested the time, money, and energy to make it happen. But you're like, well, Howard, I don't want to be like a used car salesman. I don't want to be pushy. Let me submit this to you, that you're actually doing your customer wrong by not offering the add-on sale. Really? Let me prove it to you. In fact, you'll prove it to yourself. Is it true that all the products or services that you offer are good for the client? You bet. Is it true that if they learn about it and then you didn't tell them about it because you're not being a good consultant, good salesperson is a good consultant, is it true that they're going to feel like, well, why didn't he tell me about that? Why didn't she tell me about that? And worse, they go to your most despicable competitor when they find out that they have that need. Now, how do you feel about that? Do you really care about your clients? Third is what we call the phenomenal operation system. This is everything that you do to service your clients. A couple years ago, Tom and I were scheduled to go to Australia. It was a 5-city tour in 7 days. I'm talking about a haul. Full-day seminars, Tom Ziglar and myself. We used to do these all over the world, and we went to Australia. This guy really loved it, and he said, I want you to come back and just do 5 full days for me, including Perth, Australia. Well, as you all know, Zig passed away, and this was right after when we were supposed to be in Australia. So Tom texted me and said, look, Dad's not doing well. We didn't know how serious it was. He said, would you be willing to go to Australia by yourself? And I said, absolutely. I'm not only willing, but I'm able. By the way, when we travel and do a full day workshop, you'll see it when you come here. I do about 87%. Is Tom in the room? Yeah. Oh, there he is. I do about 87%. He just gets to sit there and watch me work, okay? But it's good, and he's there to, you know, breaks everything. But he couldn't go, obviously. We didn't know how serious it was. So I get over there, and I do the first couple of cities. On the third city, Melbourne, of course, Zig passes away. It's a very hard day, and the rest of the week was very hard. I literally watched the memorial service from my hotel room at 1 o'clock in the morning in Perth, Australia. And this guy had a lot invested, and I wanted to come back, but I couldn't. And so, you know, how do you feel after a 5-city tour in 7 days? I mean, you're just totally drained. You do a full day, and then you get on a plane, you go to the airport, get on a plane, go to the next city, do it all over again, travel 4.5 hours to Perth, do another one. I mean, you're just like a wet noodle. Well, before we even planned the trip, I had set up 4 days on the Great Barrier Reef to finish one of my books. It's been on my bucket list. I've just always wanted to go there. And so I decided to do it right. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and so I decided to take a helicopter over there instead of taking the boat, you know, and 2 hours, and you don't know what the waves are going to be like or whatever. And it wasn't really that expensive, not as expensive as you would think it would be. So I'm taking this helicopter over. You talk about an experience looking down on the Great Barrier Reef, and just what a sight. And as we were touching down at this resort, which by the way had phenomenal marketing, the website, it was just amazing. This is going to be like landing on Fantasy Island. All my dreams are going to come true. And so the helicopter lands, and I wasn't on the ground very long until I realized that this is not going to be the most phenomenal service experience ever. In fact, they rarely called people by name. And this was so strange because we had spent all this time in Australia, and people in Australia are awesome. We got great friends over there. Everywhere we went, everybody was just so nice and so beautiful and just amazing. And then all of a sudden at this resort, it was like, you know, a bad movie or something, you know. And they didn't call you by name. It's your room number or whatever. And I just thought, you could have the best product. They got the best product in the world, and they blew it on the customer service. So how about your customer service? You probably provide good customer service, but have you been able to transfer that over to your team so that they could provide the most phenomenal service experience ever without it always depending on you? So you got marketing, you got sales, you got operations, and then you got administration. As I mentioned earlier, a business without a profit is just a hobby. You got to know your numbers. So you've got to have an administration system, which is everything that you do to track your stats. Not just your sales numbers, but also your customer service. You know, if they had to even carry it at this particular island, you know, I would have given them, in fact, I did. When I checked out, I told the manager, and he was just like, you know, and they haven't been trained. So it's not the employee's fault, it's the owner's fault. They haven't been trained. Now, I want to share with you, we're talking about systems here. All right, so we've got sales, we've got marketing, we got sales, we got operations, we got administration. We'll talk about leadership a little bit later on. And you don't want to miss that. And you don't want to miss the opportunity to win this package and learn about the special offer that we have either. But I want to share with you the 5 components of a system. If you want to stop being a slave to your business and you want to transform it into a predictable, profitable, turnkey operation, you got to have systems in your business. Now, why are systems important? Well, first of all, your people need to know what they are supposed to do when they show up. What am I supposed to do in the morning? What am I supposed to do at noon? What am I supposed to do before I leave? The second reason is you've got to have a consistent service experience. You know, McDonald's is the poster child for systems, right? And the reason is that you can get the same hamburger in Tokyo as you get in Paducah, Kentucky, right? Here's another question. Do you want to maybe move out of some of the areas that you're in? Well, you're not going to be able to effectively train other people if you don't have systems in your business. How about this? You hire people who are great people, customers love them, but as soon as that person's gone, it's like the customer's like, it's just not the same. So everybody does it the same way. But the biggest reason for systems is that it saves the owner time. See, when your business is organized, when it's systematized, then you can have more time for yourself. You don't have to be a slave to your business. Here's the other thing. How many of you guys are owners like me and you love to change things, right? But you just kind of forgot to tell the staff. I still make that mistake sometime. You know, I decide on the fly, I'm a high D, that we're going to do this offer or whatever. I tell my marketing people, and then the salespeople are like, hey, what's going on? Are we doing this special offer or whatever? And I'm like, oh, I blew it again. So the more that you have systems, policies and procedures in place, the smoother your business is going to be, you see. And let me ask you this question. Would you like to sell your business one of these days for a lot of money? Now, it's interesting because when Tom and I do our workshops and we travel, when I ask that question to a live audience, I get some people just, oh, yes, absolutely. Get other people like, oh, no, because you love what you do. And here's the beauty about having systems and having people in place to do these different things that you're not really good at, is the thing is that you can do the things that you love. You can do the part that you love, the part that you're good at. But if you want to sell your business, I have bad news for you, because most small business owners don't have a system. You have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job, and somebody who has a lot of money to invest in your business doesn't need a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. What they want is they want a set of keys. They want a set of keys to a turnkey system that's predictable, profitable, turnkey, a system, a machine that they can just put the key in and turn the crank, and it'll make money for them. My friend has a billionaire neighbor, and he lives in this beach community, and this billionaire has several houses, so he's only there like 5 weeks out of the year. My friend collects his mail. And every time the billionaire comes into town, he asks him business questions when he delivers his mail to him. And one day he asked him this. He says, he asked him for some business advice, and the billionaire says this. He says, build your business to sell it. Build it from the beginning to sell it. And then, don't sell it. Because when it's predictable, profitable, and turnkey, it's amazing. And that's the life that I get to live. I love it because I get to now help other people do the same. We have a client, one of our coaching members, who just this last year grew his business $500,000 in sales and grew his profit by $158,000. How? By building systems in his business. So let's look at the 5 components of a system, the 5 vital components of a system. And when you understand these components, you can systematize just about anything. First of all, you got to have a mission. Would you agree with me that if you told your employees that when you need to make a decision, that you make it with our mission in mind? Let me give you a couple of examples. I have a service company in Houston, and our mission is to provide the most outstanding service experience ever. Okay, so if your mission is, you know, if you have to make a decision, you make sure that you deliver the most outstanding, the most phenomenal service experience that that client's ever had. That's how you make decisions. Because otherwise, how do employees make decisions? Well, what I got to do when I get off, I got honeydews, or maybe what's happening on Facebook. I was traveling in Florida one time. I was on the 10th floor. I'm looking out the balcony out toward the beach. And I looked down, and there's a lady who was supposed to be washing the sand off of the boardwalk. How do I know she was supposed to be doing that? Because in her left hand was the hose, and in her right hand was her phone, all right? And so she's texting her Facebook and whatever it is that she was doing. She's got her headphones on. And as she was paying attention to this, the hose would drift. And she's watering the bushes, which is not what she's supposed to be doing, right? And then she would notice what's happening. It would come back over here. And Meanwhile, all these people were going out to the beach who could have been encouraged, who could have maybe needed something that they could purchase, like chairs or whatever, but they're left all to themselves over there. Why? Because that employee was not living the mission. So I recommend that you have a one-sentence mission statement. Number 2, you're going to need an organizational chart, but I'll show you that in a minute, because when I show you that, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be thoroughly depressed. Aren't you glad that you showed up? So I'll show you that in a minute. Third, you need policies. What's a policy? Well, it's a dress code, handbook, those kinds of things. And then fourth, you need procedures, and those are that's the how-to. That's step by step. If you're going to get other people to do some of the functions in your business, then you're going to have to give them some documentation on how to do those things. Now, they can be simple systems. I mean, you can fly an airplane with a checklist as long as you're trained on how to fly that airplane, which that gets into leadership, which we'll get into in just a second. And then number 5, you got to have what we call a PRD, and that's a performance results description. You might know it as a job description. You might know it as a position description, but we call it a performance results description because you want to describe the performance that's going to get the results, and that's why it's called a PRD. So those are the 5 vital components that you got to have if you want to systematize your business, if you want to have a turnkey business, if you want to have a little more free time. Are you ready to see the organizational chart? Are you ready to be just totally depressed? All right, get ready. Here we go. This is the organizational chart of just about every small business on the planet, no matter how big or how small it is. And let me pause for just a moment so that you can get that, so it can sink in. Isn't it true that no matter how big the business is or how small the business is, that the owner is involved in just about everything? So let me ask you a couple of questions about this chart. There's 12 vital functions there, and that doesn't even include the leadership part, all right? We talked about marketing. Somebody's got to plan the marketing, right? Somebody's got to make sure that the marketing is getting done, and somebody's got to do the marketing, right? Somebody's got to do the books. Somebody's got to make sure that the books are done. Somebody's got to decide what kind of software we're going to use, right? So you have 3 levels. You have the director level, which is planning and the vision and all of that, how it's all going to look, learning like you're doing now. The second level is managing the company. Somebody's got to supervise. And then finally is the actual doing of the work. So when you look at these 12 areas, these 12 functions, which one of these areas is not vitally important? The truth is that they're all important. But here's the question. Can any one human being do all of these functions effectively and still grow a phenomenal business? And the answer is no. The answer is, this is why we're stuck. This is why I said it's going to be depressing, because now you see right there in front of you why you feel like a slave to the business, why you feel like you're overwhelmed, why you feel like there's not enough time in the day. But there is good news. And the good news is that this chart, understanding these functions in your business and how to organize your business, is your roadmap to freedom. So you take that bottom row and you start delegating, and you start hiring people and training people to do the things on that bottom row. But which one of those columns do you start with? Do you start with marketing? Do you start with sales? Do you start with operations? Do you start with administration? And it's really fun to do this in a live audience because everybody gives us different answers based on, their viewpoint, right? So the answer is this. When you look at marketing, when you look at sales, when you look at operations, when you look at administration, the fact is this, that there are areas that you're strong in and there are areas where we're weak in. Just a fact. Myself, marketing sales guy, I'm a systems guy, but man, I didn't want to have anything to do with that administration part. In fact, for the longest time, I used what's called the Elvis Presley accounting method. Have you heard of it? Goes like this. Don't worry about how much money you spend. We just get another gig. So I go out and buy all this stuff. I mean, just spend money like crazy. And I had 2 partners at the time. They're like, man, you're just a wild man. I said, don't worry about it. We got great marketing. We got marketing systems. We can just bring in more work. But eventually, it became about making the payment every month. Lines of credit maxed out, credit cards, high interest rate, and life became about making that monthly payment. And can I tell you something? Life wasn't very phenomenal at that time. So I decided I'm going to put my big boy pants on. I'm going to learn how to do these. I'm going to learn how to do these financials, and I did. And man, I studied these financials till I just about went snowblind. And I'm going to learn everything that there is about how to run a business. But here's what I discovered. What I discovered is that every person has a gift. That's not my gift. I still look at my reports, I can tell you, and I coach people on that, right? But I'm not the guy that's going to crunch the numbers. I'm not the guy that's going to just sit there for hours and analyze those reports. So I got a guy by the name of Scott Zach who a penny doesn't move on the planet without that guy knowing about it. That's the kind of guy that you want there, right? And then I got a guy that helps me in sales and marketing. I got an operations guy, and they're just all off the charts. So I built a team, and I'm going to talk to you about building your team and leadership here in just a little bit. But the thing is that you can't be great at everything. We all have our strength zone, and you want to stay in your strength zone. So Tom wanted me to take some questions, so we're going to take a few minutes to do Q&A, then we're going to give away a package, and we're going to share with you about some events that we have coming up. And so let me welcome my friend and brother, Mr. Tom Ziglar, up here.
All right, stay right here, Howard, because
okay.
You've got the answers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this computer that we have right into our screen here. And I'm going to check and see if we've gotten any questions and see how many we have. Jill,
type those questions in right now.
So on the top right-hand corner of the screen, if you have any questions, then go ahead and type those in. We'll get as many questions as we have. You know, Howard, one of the questions that I get every time we do a program like this is the business owner wants to know, how do I get my team on board?
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
We know that we've been doing it this way, and we've gotten limited results. We're hitting the ceiling.
Yep.
And I take some of these ideas. How do I get my team on board?
Yep.
So why don't you?
You bet. I'll share from personal experience. I was a terrible leader. Okay, so step 1 is begin to learn leadership. And I'll talk about leadership here in just a second. In fact, my friend John Maxwell says that everything rises or falls on leadership. And leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And the way that you gain influence in someone else's life is by adding value to them. Dale Carnegie said that leadership is enlisting the willing cooperation of others to achieve a goal. A couple of key words there. One is you got to have a goal. Your people have to have a goal. And this is what systems are all about, is that they know what their job is, they know what the goal is, they know what they're supposed to do. And the other piece of it is willing cooperation. Why would they want to do a great job for you? Because you've added value to them. Dwight Eisenhower said that that leadership is the art of getting someone else to do what it is that you want them to do because they want to do it. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about leadership here in just a few minutes, but I'll share the greatest leadership quote I've ever heard, Tom, and I learned it from your dad. You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what it is that they want. See, you're focused on the wrong thing. You're trying to get them to do this, trying to get them to reach goal. You got to invest in them first. It's like this pump that Tom is wearing right there. It's you got to put something in before you can get something out. You got to invest in your people, and you got to invest in yourself. And that's why we do business training. That's why we do leadership training. That's why we train you, because we're trained in the technical part of whatever it is that we do, whether it's practicing law or being a doctor or a plumber or, whatever it is. Yeah, there's that pump right there.
Yeah, baby.
And so you've got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your team. One of the things that I do is I get my team in training as much as possible. I mean, you can't teach them everything. And, you know, hey, we might not be the best teachers. So become a leader yourself first. And I'm going to share with you what I consider to be the greatest leadership lesson ever. And I've studied under some of the best in the world. And I'm going to share with you what I believe is the greatest leadership secret you could ever learn. And I've seen it manifest in my own life and my own businesses. So
you know, Dad always said that there's only one thing worse than not training, or there's only one thing worse than training your people and losing them, and that's not training them and keeping them.
I know. You know, the amazing thing is that way before I even met your dad or met you guys, I heard someone say that in a training class one time. I mean, I was, you know, way back there, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because usually we go get the training, right? And then we come back with the binder and they're like, oh no, he's been to a seminar and he's got a binder, right? You need to do that. You need to go to training, but you also need to send them.
Yeah. Here's another one. Okay, our business has the opportunity for repeat customers on a 1 to 3 year basis.
Okay.
How do we get their loyalty to call us back for the repeat service and not our competitors?
Well, I think that you've got to build a relationship throughout that period, and there's a lot of ways that you can add value to them. You may not mail every month, you may not email every month, but you want to figure out how to stay in touch with them through every means that you can. Here's one question for you, and that question is, can they send you referrals? And it might be worth, so you got to do some testing, you got to have good copy, you got to have a great experience. It may be that you need to introduce other people to them that will then maybe, like we do joint ventures sometimes, we'll pay for a mailer. If somebody's going to mail to their list for us together, we'll pay for it. So you may even do a joint venture with some other companies to stay in front of them through that 1 to 3 year period. Hope that makes sense.
All right, let's see. If you have small capital, how do you prioritize which area to delegate first? So on that org chart, how do you prioritize what to delegate first?
Love this question, because if you look at that org chart, okay, on the bottom left-hand corner is the implementing of the marketing. All right, so that's got to be first. Now, leadership is first because everything rises and falls on leadership. But who is the toughest person to lead? Ourselves, right? So you got to do marketing. And so what I do, and I started with $3,000 in wedding money. My wife was really thrilled about that, let me tell you. And so I went out and beat the streets, and I discovered referral marketing early on. And you go out and it doesn't cost that much to start building these relationships with people who can support you, right? So then once you have the income coming in, then you start delegating those areas or outsourcing those areas that you're weak at. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next question. Your program looks like a master's degree without the fluff. How long would it take for me to fine-tune my leadership skills using your company?
Well, okay, so there's, let me share the path with you first, okay? What we want people to do is start with our home study course, which we're going to give one of those away today, and it goes through the 5 systems and come to one of our trainings, right? So then what happens is you start improving things immediately. And depending on the business, depending on what you've done, what you haven't done, you're going to start getting some immediate results. Well, just by approaching my employees different ways and just understanding a few concepts, I can start getting buy-in, and I can then start the process of maybe, hey, everybody's not going to come to the table, but the ones who are, they're going to get engaged. In marketing or sales or any of those areas, you just start with a few simple things. And so then the next step is to get involved in coaching with us so that we can then support you, encourage you, and hold you accountable to do the things and continue to grow. So we've seen people have immediate success, and what we found is that the larger companies sometimes need training. You know, they need someone to come out there to their location. So it kind of just depends on your situation, but we never want you to invest a dime with us without getting a good return on that investment.
Right. Okay. I think we have time for one more question here.
Okay.
And this one's a good one. We are sales reps selling B2B. How do we get the vendors who represent us to buy into supporting the level of service we strive to provide?
I think that, I hope I understand the question, but remember that all of business is about relationships, and it's about getting together, adding value to them, listening to them, get them to listen to you. And you may find that some people just aren't up to it. You may have to get other vendors, right? Now, if you're stuck with those vendors, the best thing that you can do, see, human beings, and this leadership secret that I'll share at the end is the key to it. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. When people, whatever Tom Ziglar asks me to do, I'll do. Okay? And in many ways, we're business partners, so I'm kind of like a vendor because I want him to be happy. I want his customers to be happy. And the only way that we get that is by adding value to each other. And I've got to be thinking, you know, what does he need? What do those vendors need? Why are they, maybe they're frustrated. Maybe they've got challenges that you could help them with, you see. And so everything improves when that relationship is improved.
Let me add on that, and I'll just use our business relationship as a model. We've had a 50-year plus track record of impacting people from all walks of life in all areas of life, but particularly personally and professionally in sales and in leadership and in management. And when we decided to go into working with business owners, we realized that we had some gaps, right? Because at that time, we weren't out there leading the world in marketing for small businesses and operations for small businesses and things like that. And so when we started developing the relationship with Howard, Howard's approach was always this: what problems do you have and how can I help?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And that's how you get your vendors on board, is you just ask them, hey, what challenges are you facing?
Yep.
How can we help?
Yep.
And you build the relationship that way. And of course, our relationship has just grown, and now we have so many business owners who have been impacted not only with the material that we've always provided, but in new ways that expands their reach. So they in turn are now turning around and implementing it and impacting their employees and their customers with these same concepts. Well, Howard, I know you've got about 3 more days worth of stuff to do, and you got about, I don't know, about 30 minutes to get it done. So I'm getting back to you.
I need one thing from you. First of all, one thing that you also have to know. I mean, think about this. You know, we're at Ziglar. You see Ziglar back here and everything, and I mean, how phenomenal is it where you have the most phenomenal business tools, right, coupled with the personal development and everything that Ziglar does. And so we actually created a term for that. See, when in my world, everything's phenomenal, right? And you ask me how I'm doing, I say phenomenal. And of course, you would ask your dad how he was doing. What would he say?
He'd say better than good.
Better than good. So here's what we came up with. You ready for it? Better than phenomenal. Okay, so you know, Ziglar been in business training, small business training. We've been working together 3 years now officially and building that relationship all the way back to, I don't know, 2008, maybe early 2008. It's been better than phenomenal. But I want to see if we're going to, I want to keep you up here because I want to talk about the course that we're going to have. We're going to give away the package and everything. But let me just share one thing with you. I want to share with you the #1 reason that small businesses don't grow or do as well as they could. You ready for it? It's called FTI, failure to implement. Many times you know what to do, you just don't do it. And the reason that you don't do it is because of 4 things. There's 4 keys. And Bert, if you'll actually show that slide, I want them to see this because I want this to burn into their mind. FTI, failure to implement. And we've all been there. And the reasons are many. Look at that org chart. There's just so much to do. We're not good at everything. So I want to give you what I call the 4 keys to overcoming FTI. #1 is inspiration, and that's keeping the good, the pure, the powerful coming in, keeping those Zig CDs. Always want to say tapes, right? Because I come from the cassette day.
You're a tapeworm.
Yeah, I'm a tape guy. I'm a tapeworm. Okay. All right. Okay. So I don't know if it was a good idea to keep Tom up here or not, because now the jokes are coming out, right? But first is inspiration. You know, if you're listening to all the junk out there, and remember, you are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. And this guy says is that, what do you say about appetite?
What you feed your mind determines your appetite.
Yeah. So you got to stay inspired, and inspiration is different than motivation. Motivation is I got to make payroll, or I get to go to Hawaii on the positive side. But inspiration is something that kindles on the inside. And you know, Zig said that desire is the secret ingredient to success. Where does that come from? It comes from a vision, so that we can show you what's possible in your business or in your personal life. Man, we get inspired. Number two is you got to be organized. So you got to get yourself organized, you got to get the business organized, and so we teach in our business training, use that Ziglar planner, get your life organized, get those systems in your business, so that, because the thing is that if you're not organized, you're not going to implement. It's not going to be smooth. It's going to be, you know, you got to redo everything all the time, so you got to be organized. Then the third one is training, and this is the one that I want to focus on right now. That's why I have it underlined, because we're good at whatever it is that we do. Again, we're coaching in 84, maybe 87, 88 industries by now. And I mean, we have coaches, speakers, authors, we have construction people, we have pest control people, every kind of service you can imagine. I mentioned earlier, doctors, CPAs, healthcare, just all kinds of businesses around the world. And the thing is, you might be the best at what you do technically, but you don't know marketing. You don't know sales. You don't know operations. You don't know administration. You don't know leadership. And so business training is where you need to start. And so with our home study course, with the training that we do here, you can get started with us. Eventually, you need to have support. And what I mean by support is you need to have a group of people around you to support you, encourage you, and to hold you accountable. And so we have a coaching program that we'll talk to you about once you get into training and take that first step. So Tom, let's talk about the two-day course that we have coming up.
All right, so we've got a two-day course coming up. You can see the dates right there on your screen. We're so excited about it. We're calling it the Ziglar Business Owner Boot Camp. And our idea behind it is we want it to be intense. It's going to be limited to 25 people. That's about 12 to 13 businesses, because we're encouraging a business owner to come along with their right hand or their business partner or their spouse and to participate in it, because there's so much to take in. And in this session, we're going to be talking about sales, marketing, operations, and administration, some of the things that we've just given you an interview on, but probably over an hour and a half in each one of those sections with questions, meaning whatever question you have, Howard Partridge is going to be right there in the room with you. I'll be there with you, and I'll be sharing some things. So it's designed to fill and fit your needs, because each business we found, while the systems and the ideas and the principles are the same, every business has unique questions. This is the perfect opportunity, the perfect marriage in a small group setting to put those things together.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. Tom and I have traveled all over the world doing a full day. I do a half day around the States. And to be able, outside of our conferences, where there's a couple hundred people, to be able to come here to Ziglar headquarters to spend 2 days of us just going through each one of the systems, taking your questions, coaching you on the breaks. It's just a phenomenal opportunity. Now here's what you're going to learn, and here's what's included in the home study course that someone is going to win. First of all, we're going to teach you how to set your goals. We're going to teach you how to plan your business. We've got a whole planning document. And we're going to teach you how to build systems in your business. And Tom does a good bit of the goal setting part and the personal development part of the program.
In fact, we bookend it. The first part of the session is we're going to combine. We're going to show you how the personal and the business connect.
Yep.
And at the end, we're going to go through goal setting in depth, the famous, the legendary Ziglar goal setting system. Right. So you're going to walk out of the building with goals that you can implement immediately in your business and in your personal life.
That's right. So then we'll take you through the phenomenal marketing systems. I gave you just a little teeny tiny piece. We'll walk you through the whole 7-step sales process, how to upsell, This is all in the home study course, as well as we'll teach it live. And you want to be here live because this is where we can really interact. Third is the operation system, how to set those service systems up so it doesn't always depend on you. We'll show you how to track your numbers so that you get maximum profits, and then how to lead your team to phenomenal success. Again, this is the same process that over the last 20 years I've helped small business owners have record sales and profits, get their business turnkey, totally change their life. And then just what a blessing over the last 3 years to do this with Ziglar. So let me go through real quick what we'll teach at the workshop, as well as what you're going to learn. This is actually the screenshots of the digital home study course. Somebody's going to win that here in just a second.
Just a second, okay.
All right. So first of all, let me show these screenshots here. First of all, the GPS tracking systems, how to get from where you are to where you want to go. On the digital home study course, Tom does the Born to Win system, and then I teach you, how to plan your business. And then I get into the marketing systems. Each one of these modules comes on video, audio. There's a worksheet for the video, and then there's a step-by-step manual in there, okay? And then so you'll learn the sales systems. I mean, if you're international, you'll want to win this thing because it's just right online. There's no shipping involved or anything like that. Phenomenal operation systems, administration systems, and then the leadership systems. Also, as a bonus, when you sign up for this course that we're doing, we're also going to give you some bonus items. First of all is half-day sales training. This is a video of Brian Flanagan, who has been with Ziglar for how long?
My gosh, over probably close to 30 years now.
30 years of sales training.
I think 1984.
Since 1984. Now this particular session is a half-day session. You'll want to put it in front of your team. And I personally paid several $1,000s for that, so you're going to get that.
More than several thousand.
More than several thousand, that's right. Bonus number 2, our good friend Michelle Prince, who I met in this room doing a video webcast right here, will teach you how to stop procrastinating. We're all busy being busy, and Michelle shows you how to overcome that. Our good friend Dr. David Phelps, how he systematizes dental practice is included. And let me just show you 3 quick testimonials. I mentioned Evan before. Increased his sales by $500,000 and increased his profits by $158,000. He's up in Maine. One of our other clients, this is Shayna. She has a payroll service and bookkeeping and that kind of stuff. And her sales are up 570%. She bought her dream home and built her dream office. She's up in Ohio. And this is just 3 of, hundreds of testimonials from over the years. Eric Sprague out in California, Southern California, went from $225,000 to $1.5 million. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that Tom likes to talk about, is the fact that not only has their business grown, not only do they have the support from us, but their lives have changed. They have more time with their families, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
The lives of their families. And, we got a new testimony. I don't know if I told you about this, but one of the people we work with, he was getting very intense in the goal setting system, which we're going to cover at the very end. He had been doing about 1.8 in revenue, and he set a goal last year to do 2. And he actually exceeded it. He went to 2.3.
2.3 million.
2.3 million.
Phenomenal.
So I said, well, what's the difference? And he said, well, at 1.8 I was losing a little money, so 2 was a stretch goal for me, and it was a little bit of profit. And he said, I hit 2.3, and I said, why did you hit 2.3? And he said, because he worked in his goals every single day.
That's the key.
And so I'm a math guy, I'm kind of a nerd, so I go, well, that's $300,000 over your goal budget, right? That's $25,000 a month. And we calculate, we know how long it takes to work on your goals every day. On average, it's 7 or 8 minutes. So 8 minutes a day times 30 days, that's 240 minutes in a month, right?
I don't know, but I mean, he can do
Right?
the math like this. I can't do this.
So he's making $25,000 in revenue a month, spending 240 minutes getting it. $100 a minute is what his goals was paying off.
Wow.
So
That's nice pay.
that is good pay. So I'm going to encourage him to spend 10 minutes a month or a day.
A
Yeah.
little bit more time at goal
So,
setting.
anyway.
But that's the thing, you know, when you're a slave to your business, you don't have time for your spouse. You don't have time for your family. You don't have time to go on vacation. It just thrills me to see people get a hold of this stuff, learn this stuff, and then they're like, you know, we took our first vacation ever since we've been a business owner. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So that's what it's all about. So should we give away this package?
I think we should.
Okay.
What's the word we're going to give them?
Well, I think that the fifth person to type in better than phenomenal.
Better than phenomenal.
Better than phenomenal.
Fifth one, top right-hand corner, not in chat, in the top right-hand corner where the question is, the fifth person who types that in is going to win. And right here on Skype, by the magic of technology, Jill Tibbles down in Austin is going to send us the winner of that in just a second. I know everybody's typing
Great.
like crazy right now.
Great.
You might want to type more than once and keep going just in case.
All right, so that'll be the fifth one, and we were not going to reveal that until the end.
Until the
so
end.
I'm going to teach a little bit more, and we're going to talk about the workshop that we're having as well. Actually, why don't we go ahead and give that away now, because I want people to go ahead and start registering for this.
Okay.
Do y'all have that, or how long will it take to get that to come in on the?
Usually it'll take about 30 more seconds.
30 more seconds.
I'm
okay.
just guessing, yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to teach that a little bit while
Okay.
you're waiting on that. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So we'll give that away here in just a second. Give you guys an opportunity to sign up for this. 2 days here at Ziglar headquarters. We can only take, what, 25 people?
25.
So be ready to register. Even if you win, you need to come to this, okay? And you're going to get a link. How are they going to get that link, Tom?
We're going to email a link out to everyone.
Okay, so be watching your email, because you want to be one of the first 25 to get in on this, because we're not going to do another one for a couple of months. This is, unless there's the demand for it.
Your winner just popped up.
Winner just popped up. Come on back up here. You got to do the honors. But that's March 26th through 27th here at Ziglar headquarters in Dallas, Texas area.
All right, we have a winner, Myrna Ritten, R-I-T-T-E-N. Congratulations.
Myrna, congratulations.
So I know Jill's going to get your information so we can send you the link so you can get this download, and we're good to go there.
Very good. Okay. Congratulations. All right. So when you get that email, be one of the first 25 to sign up for this 2-day course. You don't want to miss it. Now let me share with you, in closing, I'm going to share with you the ultimate secret in business here in just a second. But I want to talk with you a little bit about leadership first. All right. There's a guy by the name of Dave Anderson. I think he's here in the Dallas area somewhere. In fact, I think he's even taught in this room before. Yeah. And Dave says this. He says, if you have a dream, but you don't have a team, you have to either give up the dream or build up the team. And here's the thing. I don't know about you, but I'm not giving up my dream. In fact, the way that Ziglar helped me so much is helped me to understand that if I don't have a vision, if I don't have a dream, if I don't have something that pushes me to do the work, because the thing is that, you know, finding, hiring, and keeping people and getting them to do what it is that you want them to do is not the easiest thing in the world. But how compelling is your dream? Your dream has got to be bigger than any of the hard work. But here's the blessing. The blessing is that when you learn how to be a phenomenal leader and you have phenomenal leadership systems, something amazing happens. You start attracting the most phenomenal team. I have the most phenomenal team, just amazing, and they love doing the work that they do. They love supporting the mission. And it's just amazing. So let me talk to you about leadership, and then I'll share with you in closing the ultimate leadership secret, really the ultimate secret to a phenomenal business. So leadership, again, is everything that you do to influence everything else that happens in your business. And my personal definition of leadership is this. Leadership is effectively communicating your vision. And what's included in that vision is what we call MVP. Mission, values, and purpose. Your mission, this is what we do every day to get to where it is that we're going. Our mission statement at Phenomenal Products is to help small business owners stop being a slave to their business and transform it into a predictable, profitable, turnkey operation. Everything we do revolves around that. So you got to have a strong mission. Everything, you hire to the mission, you fire to the mission, you coach to the mission. Then you got to have values. We have 5 values: reputation, experience, training, systems, and guarantee. And we live by those values. The values are the standards that you live by. And then finally is your purpose. Why is it important that your company exists? Well, our purpose is to help small business owners have more life, living in freedom every day. Because there's no freedom in being a slave to your business. No freedom in being in debt. No freedom in just being chained to that business and not learning these skills. So phenomenal leadership is creating an experience for your internal clients, and that is your staff. It's creating the right environment. And then a phenomenal leadership system is having a proven process for finding and attracting the right people. It's having a proven process of hiring people. It's having a proven process for interviewing people. It's having a proven process for having a good orientation. It's a proven process for having good training systems. It's a process, a system for coaching someone. And then finally, disciplining them so that then you can either help them quit if you're not the right fit for them, or that they would, or that you'd have to terminate them. So let me share with you, in closing, the ultimate leadership secret, and then we'll do maybe a little bit more Q&A and maybe talk a little bit more about the workshop. The ultimate leadership secret, and the ultimate secret really to a phenomenal business in my mind, is this. Every human being on the planet has a longing for belonging. Every human being on the planet has a longing for belonging. And when you can create what I call a sense of community in your business. See, everyone wants to feel valued. They want to feel loved. They want to feel accepted. But Howard, my employees mess up all the time. It's only because they don't feel loved enough yet. It's only because they don't feel valued enough yet. Maybe you got the wrong person on the team. I don't know. But the thing is I hire people who are not for skill. Now, if they need a certain level of skill, that's great. But I hire people who have willing hearts, who want to be on that kind of team. See, everybody wants to be loved. They want to be accepted. They want to feel important. They want to feel like they're a part of a team that's going somewhere, you see. And that's why it's so important to have those goals, to have that vision. And so once you start creating that sense of community by caring about people, you know, you've heard the old saying, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And Zig added 2 words to that. He said, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care about them. They know you're the boss. You don't have to throw that around. Everybody knows it. If you'll start investing in them by caring about them and creating a sense of community that has the support that they need, that has the encouragement that they need. Zig said that every human being, the fuel that they run on is encouragement and the accountability. See, if you're covered up, you're not going to be able to spend the time with them to develop that relationship. All of business is about relationships. So you've got to build a sense of community in your business. When you do that, that will inspire the team to implement. When your company has a big why and it's making a difference and you get people involved in that, man, it changes everything. So it'll inspire your team to implement for you. because they want to. You'll get to a point where you don't have to hardly coach anybody. You know, I have a fairly small team at Phenomenal Products. I can't remember the last time I had to coach them, to adjust and, hey, you know, what is that the right decision? But not to coach them, but you got to start. It wasn't always that way. I mean, I had a team that's like, man, it's chaos. They buy into the leader first because the leader cares about them. Number two, it'll wow your customers. When you get these systems in place and you have a sense of community in your business, then that'll wow your customers. And finally, it'll make you big profits. There was a Gallup study that Tom and I look at on employee engagement in America. I think 25 million employees were surveyed, and they were asked 12 different questions. Would you believe that 70% of American employees are disengaged? In fact, about 18% of them are actively disengaged. They're actually working against you. How do you fix that? By becoming a leader. Becoming a phenomenal leader, and it just starts slowly. It started slowly for me. And then you get better and you get better and you get better. Then you start building out this team. So if you have a dream but no team, you have to give up the dream or build up the team. All right, so I think we've got about 8 minutes for questions. Again, watch your email inbox. Sign up for the meeting coming up, the training. Tom and I look forward to working with that small group of you guys that'll be here. Remember that when you sign up in the next 24 hours, you're going to get that digital home study course for free, which is on my website right now for $397. So it's a $400 value, an extra bonus that you're going to get for free when you sign up for the Ziglar Business Owner Boot Camp that we're doing here at Ziglar headquarters. This particular one is March 26th and 27th, right. I believe.
So here's the special package that we're putting together. The email is going to be out any minute. Our team's sending it out right now. The package is normally our 2-day Business Owner Boot Camp is $997. We have a special of $497, and the bonus is you can bring your business partner or your spouse with you at no extra charge.
Which is normally $100.
Which is normally $100.
Yeah.
So for $497, you get the home study course, the business owner home study course, which is a $400 value by itself, and you're saving over 50% on attending. So like we said, we've only got 25 spaces, and we encourage you, as soon as you get that email, if you want to come, get that in right away. We're excited. Howard and I will be here. It's fun. We start at 8 o'clock on the first day. We have fun.
We go.
You know what? We eat pretty good too.
Yes, we do.
We have food here, and it's good food, good Texas hospitality. And especially if you guys up in the Northeast, if you want to get a little bit of freedom from the blizzards and the snow and the ice and all that stuff, come down to Texas.
Warm
we'll love to have you. Okay, we got a question here.
Okay.
It says, I'm a sole proprietor of a service business. How do you do damage control of rumors spread in the business community about you that are not true?
You know, the only thing that you can do is just get out there and tell the truth and trust God for the rest. And that's the trouble with social media today and the internet. But you know, going forward, no matter what's happened in the past, you know, as Zig said, that failure is not a person, it's an event. Today is a brand new day. So my encouragement to you is wherever that's happening out there, if you can go, you know, tell the truth that, hey, this is what the actual, you know, situation is. And if you can get other people that trust in you that know that that's not true to chime in. But from here on out, just each and every one of you, make sure that your reputation is stellar. You know, we had a client come into our coaching program. He was a restaurant owner here in Dallas, and he came to one of our conferences, and he didn't sign up for coaching or anything, which is fine. There's no, you know, obligation to do that, but he wanted to. But he was like, you know, I'm not sure about this guy, you know, and I mean, Tom was there and everything. You got Ziglar everywhere. This is the most trusted name in training right there. But he's real skeptical, and he told me sometime after he had joined coaching, he came to another event, joined coaching. He was in for a few months, and when he felt that he could share this with me, he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I'm a skeptical person by nature. He said, I went to that first event. He said, I went home and I searched the internet for 3 hours trying to find something on you, and I couldn't find anything. And, you know, Zig was the same way. You know, you could search all day long, and what you're going to find is that Zig Ziglar touched an estimated 250 million people on the planet. Stellar reputation. So from this point forward, you know, just do so much good in so many places, so many people for as long as you can, so that you'll have so many people singing your praises that if anything negative does pop up because you've got competitors or whatever, nobody will believe it.
That's right, Howard. I tell you what, we're right bumping up on the 90-minute window, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this up, and it's been an amazing time. I appreciate everybody attending. It's always an honor to have you here, Howard. You flew up today.
My pleasure, yes.
You flew up today just for this.
Yep.
And I had a great time at your conference last week, and it was an amazing time. Just a community of business owners supporting and loving on each other, helping each other, and doing that by raising the standard, right? Raising the standard.
That's right.
And, you know, reputation is everything. And so if your reputation is something that you believe in and you want to build, then you've got to raise the standard in all areas of your business. And when you do that, your people will raise up as well. As Dad used to say, you don't build a business, you build your people. That's and right. The people build the business. I hope to see you here at our boot camp. I hope that you come and bring your business partner or your spouse. I know that if you do, it'll mean so much to you, your family, your community, and your business. I'm Tom Ziglar, CEO of Ziglar Inc. and the proud son of Zig Ziglar. Thank you for joining us during this webcast.